This is the climatographer's Dr. Mark Trexler with the Climate Countdown for the Costa Report. Today's topic, why haven't we acted more aggressively to tackle global warming? Serious discussion of human-caused global warming as a societal risk dates back to about 1957. Even industry recognized the risk, with Exxon's director of research noting in 1980 that a rapid transition from fossil fuels to renewables would be necessary. So when climate scientist James Hansen testified before Congress in 1988 that climate change had arrived, you might have thought that coordinated action against global warming would quickly be forthcoming. Fast forward 33 years. Global greenhouse gas emissions have risen dramatically, and the average global temperature is already up by more than 1 degree centigrade. That may not sound like much, but consider that each 1 degree of change in the Earth's average temperature has historically been associated with 60 feet of global sea level change. So what happened? Why didn't we solve global warming the same way we acted nationally and internationally to solve other problems? Make no mistake, climate change was never going to be easy. It's a so-called wicked problem, and the human brain isn't good at tackling wicked problems. One of my favorite quotes is that our risk brains are still searching for lions in the Serengeti. In other words, we just haven't had the time to evolve the new skills needed to effectively perceive and respond to wicked problems. So it has always been clear that climate change was going to be a much tougher nut to crack than acid rain or the ozone hole. But another factor came into play in 1989 when the fossil fuel industry decided to launch the Global Climate Coalition, which rapidly turned into a leading voice for questioning climate science and for seeking to delay climate policies. Using a chess metaphor, think of the Global Climate Coalition as the founding member of Team No Urgency, created to interfere with the goals of Team Urgency in tackling climate change. It's clear that Team No Urgency has dominated the climate chessboard for the last 30 years, in part because Team No Urgency has had the easier job of defending the status quo, while Team Urgency has to tear down the status quo. But it's also arguably the case that Team Urgency has simply never played up to its potential. Here are some examples. First, as expert communicator Randy Olson has noted, there has never been a cohesive climate message to unite Team Urgency. All kinds of messages have been tried. Climate change is an emergency. Climate change is the biggest opportunity of all time. It's up to government to tackle climate change. It's up to business to tackle climate change. It's up to individuals to tackle climate change. Confused yet? Second, hundreds of climate silos operate largely independently in trying to tackle climate change, even competing with each other for attention and resources, rather than pulling together and effectively collaborating as Team Urgency. Third, business support for Team Urgency has been largely missing in action. As U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse noted as recently as 2020, there is no company that shows up in Congress on climate except maybe Patagonia. Last but not least, 100 million individuals in the United States alone identify as alarmed or concerned about climate change, but have no idea how to support Team Urgency. What if Team Urgency had come together in a coordinated and strategic way more than 30 years ago when Team No Urgency got its start? What if Team Urgency, even today, could figure out how to leverage the resources and capabilities of the 100 million Americans alarmed or concerned about climate change? How different might the future end up being as compared to the dangerous climate path scientists say we're on today? This is Mark Trexler with the Costa Report's Climate Countdown. Thanks for listening.